What is up, everyone, and welcome to episode 277 of the Centering Esports podcast presented by Alt. And yes, this is going to be the best episode ever because we actually had some exciting esports. Dare I say, exciting Counter-Strike. Online Counter-Strike was exciting. We'll talk some ESL Pro League EU as they've wrapped up earlier today. Also, Word on the Street segment. We'll cover Hex possibly buying back into Optic and maybe some meaningful Counter-Strike to finish off the year. So we'll talk that in Word on the Street. And it is Monday, so you know we have a very exciting Yikes of the week to get to as well. And of course, a loaded, as it looks like, a very busy e-news to get to finish up the show. But before we do that, got to tell you about the show sponsor, which you already know is Alt Esports. That's ULT Esports, short for Ultimate. They are the ultimate esports apparel company out there. You can go to the website, altesports.com, pick yourself up a 101 Burglars hoodie, partnered with your very own TCR boys. More merch to come on that. Also, Overwatch League, Call of Duty League, their own merch, which is also straight fire. In fact, I know a little word on the street for you already in the intro. They're about to release or getting ready to release some new alt merch. As the kids would say, fire. Fire. The shirt I'm wearing right now, if you're watching on stream or YouTube, Alt, fire tie-dye, Dallas Fuel. What's up? Shout out. It is the comfiest shirt I probably have in my closet. It's wonderful. Love it. Also, Anuj can attest to this. You think, oh, okay, shirts, hoodies, that's cool, esports. Don't sleep on the socks.
Oh, socks are my go-to in the winter.
I have 2 pairs of Alt socks. I went, Nate gave us a pair, and I was like, these are so damn comfy, I will go spend money on more socks. And
the one thing I don't really ever recall buying, like outside of the basic normal socks.
I have never bought a pair of socks.
Yeah.
Like they're always in
a
packs.
Single pair.
Yes, but to buy one pair of socks, first and only time I've ever done it in life was at altesports.com. You can do the same. Be as close to a professional gamer as possible while wearing altesports.com.
Hello, my name is Glaive. I'm the in-game leader of Astralis, and you are listening to The Centering.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to another edition of The Centering, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast. This is episode 277, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, October 4th, 2020. The time, 8:44 p.m. Central Time. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter if you're not doing so already, at The Center Ring. Our Discord information is in the description. Join that, be a part of the conversation. We do monthly Ask Us Anythings. You can leave that in the DMs. You can leave that on Discord, whatever. Ask us anything. We will get to that towards the end of the month. And if you listen on iTunes or anything like that, go ahead and leave a review. 5 stars appreciated. But we do read them, so we love to hear opinions and things like that on the show. My name is Tim. I will be your captain for this journey into esports, and alongside me, as always, my best friend, my brown friend, but not my Slytherin friend. He's my Gryffindor friend. It's Anuj. What's up?
Hearing Glaive's voice kind of turned me on a little bit. Like, can you play that liner again?
Yeah. Let me turn down the music just so we can get it properly, and I'll turn off the intro music.
Hello, my name is Glaive. I'm the in-game leader of Astralis, and you are listening to The Centering.
That's powerful.
Like,
that is powerful.
Hello, my name is Glaive. I'm the in-game leader of Astralis, and you are listening to The Centering.
That sounds like the Terminator.
He really does. He really does.
Like,
And I could tell you that was after ECS, the good one, here in Arlington.
the good one.
The good one. We all know which one that was. He did not want to do that interview. Did not want to do it. He was nice. It wasn't like he didn't want to just do it with me because he was in a bad mood. It was just, you could just tell. Like, he wanted to get done with that interview and get back to the hotel and do whatever it is that they do.
Be done with the night.
Yeah, he was done with it. And that was after they won, I think, or something. Like, you know, for that night or whatever. And we sat there and like no Astralis people came in the room. We were like, so what's happening? And just good sport though. Good sport. And yes, you're right.
Hello, my name is Glaive. I'm the in-game leader of Astralis, and you are listening to the Centering.
Like that's 100% Terminator.
Yeah, for sure.
Like next time I need to, is like, can you just say I'll be back?
Like he should be on Fiverr.
Just to do a voiceover.
Make a little extra money. I'm sure they could use it.
Yeah, Astralis doesn't need to make extra money, sir. If there's one org that we know pays handsomely to at least those guys, they don't need Fiverr money. They don't need Fiverr. Very niche. I can do the Terminator voiceover money. Nothing else. But I can do
here and there for a little recording.
Yeah, I could do the Terminator voice. No, they definitely don't need that money. Anyways, let's get to it. I know we normally talk a little football at the start. I don't want to do that, Anuj. Okay, football is dead to me after this weekend. All of our teams suck. It doesn't matter if it's the Lions or the Cowboys or North Texas or Texas. They all suck.
All suck. All suck.
Football is the worst sport in the world, and it's dead to me. I've lost like every single bet. Last weekend I was like 6-1 on my bets. I was feeling it. This week I'm like 1-6. And I'm even trying to do the catch up where I'm like doing late game bets where it's like, oh well, I'll throw some on the over.
Let me get a little action over here.
Yeah, let me get in some action. Let me get some back, and that's even backfiring. So now I'm even like more in the hole.
We were at the in-laws for lunch today, and I was obviously watching the Cowboys game. It was bad enough that we lost, but they pulled me back from eating to come back and watch the last few minutes there just to make sure I saw them lose. You know, they got it just close enough to where it was like, shit, I should go like pay a little bit closer attention. Just close enough for me to come back and watch the disappointment.
Watching sports with my in-laws is always interesting because they do not care.
Oh, yeah. No, mine don't either. They like to ask questions.
Yes, they like to ask questions and act like, oh, is that okay? Or, oh, is that good? Is that good that they did that? And it's like, no, it's not. Like,
they just want to know. Yeah, mine just want to know when a touchdown happens, and then they're like, okay, just rewind it real quick. Let me just see the play.
Right. Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
But they all let me watch, so that works.
Yeah. I mean, there's a hard, fast rule. The very first Thanksgiving I had at my wife's house at the time when we were dating, football was not on. And I had to pull her aside and I was like, hey, I don't know if you know this about Thanksgiving, but there's like football on all day. And the Lions.
They're watching the parade.
I think they were watching like even worse, like the History Channel. I'm a parade guy. Thanksgiving is parade and football. That's it. But
football dominates the day for sure on TV.
Yeah. After the parade, because the parade's in the morning. If you're in Detroit, Godzilla, for whatever reason, they run Godzilla marathons and TV in Detroit. At least when I was younger, they did. That was always like a Thanksgiving tradition, Godzilla. But watching sports, and it's even weirder now. So I don't know if you know this, Anuj. So my parents recently moved back to Texas, and as a child, I do what any child does and mooch off of their cable login. So I like to do that whole neat things that us millennials do, where we like to puff our chest, saying, "Yeah, I'm a cord cutter. I don't use cable, but yet I use all my parents' logins, and so I pretty much take advantage of it." They have Sling TV, and on Sling TV, which I don't know if there's different channels than other TV, I don't know, but there's an esports channel.
It's like random.
I was flipping through, and it was like,
did you watch for a bit?
It was like Overwatch College, so no.
Okay. Understandable.
No. But I did see on the guide, it was like Esports Center at night. And it's like it's a 24/7 esports channel.
That's pretty cool.
I had no idea it
I
existed.
mean, I would be curious to check it out.
I will have to actually sit there and check it out. Because I've never heard of it before. I couldn't even tell you what it is. I think it's just esports TV, very original. But I had no idea. None.
Yeah.
Like that seems like that would be a big deal to have like a 24/7 esports TV channel.
Yeah, but if you're filling in the content with Overwatch Collegiate, there's maybe a reason
People aren't talking about it. You're probably right. All those, no disrespect, love them. But all these random emails we get from people who are like, hey, we're new into the industry and we're trying to build a 24/7 esports content and we want you. We've gotten a lot of those. And it's always like, how about you call us after it's all done? like, buddy, you and the 30 people ahead of you said they want to start a 24/7 ESPN style esports channel. Doesn't always work out. But I do appreciate it. Appreciate the love. So don't stop the emails. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is very shocked when I was flipping through the channels and I saw esports as a 100% standalone
they had no
channel.
idea about it.
And had no idea. None. Probably tells you part of the issue, but interesting nonetheless. But I'll tell you what that channel doesn't have. It doesn't have Yikes of the Week. Promise you that. Promise you it doesn't have Yikes of the Week. So let's get into Yikes of the Week, our weekly segment, every Monday show that we go over a moment from the previous week that just makes you go, yikes, hence the name. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, mine's coming, I think, from a first-timer to Yikes of the Week, if I'm not mistaken, Tim. But that would be YouTube. YouTube, the tweet was a joke in bad taste, ultimately. They tweeted out a joke about creators talking for 15 minutes before they play their video, essentially. Right. And then, later deleting this tweet, obviously, because it's a bad look. Why is it a bad look, you asked, Tim? Well, YouTube, the way you monetize your videos is they have to hit a certain duration. So your creators have to sometimes fill in time because their 8-minute video isn't long enough to count for monetization rules. And so they kind of took a stab at a lot of the creators out there that do this, and obviously a ton do, right? Like it's not a lie that it's happening, but it's happening because you built the system to happen that way. And so, it's a yikes in that sense. But look, I love what YouTube has been doing recently. Like for me, the growth that they've shown in several areas is fantastic, including just streaming. Like it's almost become a go-to if I have the option of either or. But yeah, this was a bad look, and at least they deleted it. So I'll give them that. But definitely a yikes.
I feel like lately YouTube's been, I don't know what they're trying to do. Maybe they're trying to get to like a younger demo of like, hey, what's up, kids? I'm neat and I can make a jab on Twitter type of thing.
Yeah.
But like they're starting to try to get more personality in the brand. Have you noticed that? Like commenting on videos and tweeting out things like this. It's kind of like, okay, but you're YouTube.
It's like, I mean, I guess smarter than like Wendy's. Wendy's to me has one of the best.
And that's what I feel like they're trying to get at.
Yeah.
But it's like, but you're YouTube and you've never been like that. You've always been like, I mean, YouTube's kind of the man in the sense of like,
well, dude, you're big boy.
Yeah, like you're kind of big brother.
You're the adult of the group,
right?
Kind of above.
Yeah, you're the one who's gonna flag my video because I played 2 seconds of a song.
I think this is why they get into yikes for this reason, right? Because it's out of the norm for them. Yeah. So it looks even worse.
Just know your audience.
If somebody's constantly taking jabs and that's kind of how their account is run, and they say something like that, probably doesn't make it here. But YouTube doesn't do that, so it does stand out a little bit more in this scenario.
Know your audience there. My yikes of the week is definitely a first.
This is a good one
for this gentleman, a first. And honestly, I never thought I'd see him here because I respect this man a lot. And that's Yanko, former Counter-Strike analyst, now coach of FaZe Clan's CS roster. Again, I respect the hell out of him. Very few times have I heard him say or do something where I'm like, that's just dumb. Like, that's a dumb point you just made there, Yanko. Well, he tweeted out a very, I think, ironically dumb point. So he tweets out, and this is kind of paraphrased a little bit, but he tweets out, some of these orgs really are a joke. Their coaches found guilty of using the bug multiple times and with clear intent of gaining an advantage. And you simply just move them to an analyst role? Seriously? And then he goes on to say for like 3 more tweets saying about the competitive integrity and how if we don't hold people accountable in the scene of what that appears to the outside and things like that. I say to you, are we to believe Yanko doesn't know where his paychecks come from? Like, are we to believe that he doesn't know how to use Google for FaZe? Just Google FaZe Clan, FaZe Banks. Just Google it. See what comes up, Yanko. For you to sit here, there's a saying, and I might even be getting it wrong, but you kind of have to take care of your own backyard before you start looking into your neighbors. Right?
Yeah, or like it's like the what is it? Kettle calling the pot black.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah, pot calling
like
the kettle black.
Yeah, pot calling the kettle black.
Pot meet kettle. Yanko. Like I said, respect the hell out of you. But bro, don't be coming at me with this integrity bullsh when your org, albeit I'll admit it. I'll admit it. FaZe is the most #1 profitable, like, when Forbes comes out with their top esports list this year, FaZe has to be #1 by a mile and then some. Yeah. I'll admit it. They won. They've won it.
They've won life.
Yes, they've won that department. But that doesn't mean I can't still make fun of them for originally getting funded and admitting getting funded by illegal gambling scams. And for Yanko to throw this stone, it's just, I tweeted, it's chef's kiss. Mwah, irony. I'm not even mad about it at this point. It's just like, oh boy.
His point to me is, it's kind of, it doesn't make a lot of sense because I know he's saying like these players should be, not players, coaches should be fired or lose their job instead of being moved to an analyst role and then like moved back into a coaching role. But at the same time, again, we continue to take away the acknowledgement of the players' knowledge, right? Like some of these coaches that he's talking about used it for 20, 30, 40 rounds. So to me, it's obvious that the players knew too. So if they want to save this dude's job and they see that the players are not getting punished, like I don't blame these orgs for doing that. Like also finding a good coach is hard. Like, and now Yanko obviously sees the trouble of coaching, right? He's on a team with 2 of the best players in the world, now 3 if you add like KRB to that list, and they still are struggling over there. So if these teams have a coach that they believe in and they know that everybody was abusing it, I kind of look at this like the steroid era a little bit, Tim. Like we put that asterisk there. This happened for the majority of Counter-Strike's life. This was a thing, and people took advantage of it. Like
for CSGO anyways.
CSGO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, to me, I saw that and I was like, that is a yikes. That is how you get your first appearance on Yikes of the Week, right there. Being on FaZe Clan and tweeting anything about integrity is that's bliss.
It's a tough sell.
Yes.
It's a tough sell.
So you're gonna have a tough one to get me on your side on that one.
Yeah.
All right, so there's Yikes of the Week. Let us know if you have any Yikes of the Week. Hit us up in Discord or at The Centering on Twitter. Word on the street. Word on the street. Let's start with the second one, just because I think that's less of a big one.
Okay.
Word on the street is America is yet again going to save the world by traveling to Europe and doing what they can.
Spreading the virus?
That's clearly China. Did you not watch the latest presidential debate?
For this, I want to just throw this out there. I love this if this were to happen. Like, I need some NA-EU like battles to happen.
So
like,
for those who
need this back,
for those who don't know what's happening is NA Counter-Strike teams are supposedly in a discussion with each other to all travel out to EU to end the year for in Counter-Strike. So that way we can have proper EU versus NA mixing mingled tournaments like we did back in the good old days, back pre-COVID, where we actually could have a real functioning tournament. And so North American teams are saying, you know what, guys, the world needs us. CS needs us. Everyone's going over to Valorant. People, our scene is dying without us being involved. We need to take the initiative and go over to Europe and show them what's up.
Now, let's also be a little brutally honest here. The reason it would be NA traveling to EU is it's like we're talking about 3 teams, maybe 4 make this journey. If we want to go down just a list that we think that who would be, right? The Evil Geniuses, Liquid, Complexity's already there.
Furia.
100 Thieves, and yeah, sure, like if Furia as well. I guess we'll include them in the NA segment here.
Well, they
So,
would,
yeah,
I mean, they would have to be.
they play NA, so
Yeah.
but yeah, so we're talking about like 4 teams probably, being sent over. So a lot easier on the travel trying to get 20, 30 people to go than bring over 60, 70, if not more. But I love the idea. Like, I think a lot of these games, I should say esports in general, they're seeing traditional sports handle it. Now, may not be perfect, right? Like NFL just hit its snag, this week. NBA, I think, has by far done it the best. NBA and NHL have both been, pretty good. NBA especially, like, has just really had no.
I mean, NHL had no issues.
Yeah, like none. And so, you can see it can be done if it's done right, and if they're able to find a way to do this, it'll be good for the game. It'll be great for the fans. And it'll give us a little bit of variety in what we've been watching for like 7-8 months in Counter-Strike.
I
which
think
is
if
the
they
same
do this,
4 teams playing each other.
If they do this, we scrap the entire year and redo it in the last 2 months. Redo ESL Pro League. Redo whatever. Cologne, Blast. Redo it all. You fit it in 2 months. Figure it out. Run the players dry. I don't care if you got to do 6 a.m. games. You make them play, and we redo 2020 to finish the year.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what they do set up. I mean, I know what you're saying would be great. Obviously, we know that's like not going to happen. But at the end of the day, like if they could put together something new for this, right? We lost the major, so maybe find a shit ton of sponsors here, and let's see if we can bubble up a prize pool of $1 million and make it worth the trip out there. Put on an event and
call it the
money
not
into
major.
production and.
It's the not major.
Yeah, like I mean, again, like I think that would be cool if they treated it that way. Like if you're watching right now, if you're watching League of Legends, there's not like an audience at these places, but yet they have these badass like animations going on, and it's just over the top the way Riot does it. It would be cool for Counter-Strike to kind of end the year on a high note after what I would say has been a very tough year for the game.
Yeah.
Like COVID has hit Counter-Strike hard, along with freaking Valorant getting tossed into the mix, the coaching bug, the MDL scandal, like all of this, MIBR breaking up. Like there's just been a lot of negatives. So if they can find a way to turn this into a positive and finish the year strong, that would, I think that would be meaningful to a lot of people.
I mean, I think it would turn this year around. And the beauty with esports is, like, you can play with COVID. Sprinkle some COVID in there. You can still do it. If everyone has COVID, you don't have to worry about it, right? That's how that works. So
put them in one of their own like soundproof glass boxes.
Yeah.
If a player has COVID at LAN, throw them in one of those glass boxes.
Your COVID box, and you can still play. Right? It's not like football where it's like you actually need your lungs to play video games. You don't need lungs. You don't need to breathe.
This avoids like awkward high fives. Like this actually might do some positives,
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree, and I think it will be fascinating. And I really hope it will happen. I don't want to get on a rant. I don't want to get on a rant. I'm going to say this, but I don't want to go on a rant. Hearing you say Riot put on a great show and they're dealing with Worlds, and League of Legends fans get to have that experience for their Super Bowl event, and the fact that it's the NA teams that have to get together to figure out how we want to do this and not Valve giving two shits about how it should happen. I don't want to go on a rant, but it hurts me.
It's expected.
It's expected, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you would love to see them, like, again, people say never mind. No, yeah, I agree.
I don't want to start it.
Well, we can stop there. We can just save that for another time.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, it would be nice for them to have some involvement to try to make some sort of
yes. I know what you're saying.
Major type scenario, but
there are some talking heads in Counter-Strike that will try to convince you that Valve really does care about the esports scene and the betterment of their game. I tell you, those people put in an application somewhere in Valve. Like they don't want to be uninvited from working at majors, so they're saying that to get on someone's good side. Because take it from the source, I don't think they do.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
I don't think they do.
Not a lot. Like they're happy that it makes them the money. That's what they're happy about.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into the last word on the street, which is a big one here. And it's all really been all but confirmed. I think it's safe to say, but we just can't officially confirm it, is that Hex is buying back Optic somehow, some way. And so finally, the meme of not Hex's Optic is actually Hex's Optic once more. A lot to unpack here. And like I said, this is where the details aren't officially out yet. So I guess we can kind of talk in speculation. Now, that being said, friendly reminder, it is now 9:07 p.m., October 4th, Sunday night. By the time we finish this, this is the secret of the trade here. We're going to spend time speculating what this means. By the time we wake up tomorrow, all the news and everything will be broken out exactly what it means. Right? That's how that works. We normally spend time, and that's when they decide.
Wouldn't be surprised if we hear it right after this. There's like 100% confirmation that it's all happened. But we know it. I mean, we know it's happening.
Yes.
Like, I feel like we feel pretty confident that this is all going through. He's reportedly already acquired Optic Gaming from Immortals, brings it back to himself. Now, a lot, and Tim says a lot to unpack. The big thing here is Hex's co-CEO currently at NRG. For those of you that don't know, right? He already has a CDL slot with NRG and being the Chicago Huntsman. This would give him a second slot, which reportedly he would have to sell off. And so that starts a whole nother conversation. But this would give him full ownership back of the brand, right? Yeah. The content, the brand, bringing back the green wall. I think this is massive. Like I would be thrilled for the guy because as much as we, knock on him and it's fun to do in that sense, the way I feel like the way we do it, it's all fun and games, right? Like this would be really cool. Like this would be, I'm not going to say this lifts the curse because that curse will follow forever.
There's one thing and one thing only that will lift the curse. And that if Hex is brave enough to show his face on this show. We've reached out to him to even talk about this. We've reached out to Hex multiple times. Said he'd come on the show. He said he would come on the show, Anuj. And then as soon as you start trying to pin down a detail and a time, he'll ghost you. It's happened multiple times, hence why the TCR curse.
He'll ghost us.
Yes. Hence why the curse is on Hex. And the only way to lift that curse, Hex, because I know you're listening, is to come on the show and just talk. You don't even have to apologize. Even though you probably want to, you don't have to.
Imagine this dude right now. Like, imagine the Cloud9 that he is on, Tim, if this all goes down the way we think it's going to go down, right? Like, he's probably, obviously, I think he stays with NRG in the sense in the co-CEO role, especially if he has to sell off the CDL spot. But to have that branding back for him, I think would really, mean everything in terms for this guy. Like, I do believe he truly 100% regrets letting go of Optic. And I think this would kind of confirm that, right? That he obviously does regret that decision, especially the way it all happened with Optic J and all the nonsense that kind of happened.
He never let it go. He never let. They went off to war. They broke up. They were like, dude, we're breaking up with you. I'm going to war. It's like I have other girlfriends here. Like it's over. And Hex was like, I'm not giving up on you. And now they're all home. It's like the Notebook. This is Hex and Optic is now the Notebook. And we're just in that phase where Noah built the home. You know, Hex built the home and now they're back.
I do wish he took back over the Optic brand from the CDL perspective, though.
So
I know that's not going to happen because of Scump and like the team, right?
That's what's holding it up. It's not now. Him and Andy Miller are best dudes, right? I think they're best friends that anyone has ever had, and I agree with that. But if the players that Chicago had weren't those players, I truly believe Hex would say, "Hey, thank you so much, NRG, for everything you've done. This is my baby, and you gotta choose your baby over, you know, whatever." So I 100% believe in my heart that if it weren't for the players on that team, which is Hex's players, he would go over and just outright own Optic and the CDL spot, severing ties from Chicago. But there's no way you can do that to those players.
That takes a little bit away from like the enthusiasm I have for the deal altogether.
Yeah.
Right? Like to not see them involved in Call of Duty. Obviously, because if they sell, the brand is gone then from Call of Duty, like altogether.
Yeah,
At
you
least,
can't have
is
Optic.
there.
You can't have Optic branding in COD League and then Optic content creation branding outside of it while having nothing to do with each other.
Yeah,
Like
well,
I don't think the
have
league.
both ownership spots. You know, that's the bigger challenge, and so it will be a little unfortunate that you don't see them in COD anymore. But this opens up other opportunities, Tim. Like this opens up a whole nother slew of rumors that we get to talk about, right? And primarily the rumor that's been out there and it's been discussed, it's been shot down and it's been brought back up because of a Instagram picture is 100 Thieves potentially. There's that tie, right? There's the Nade Shot Hex tie. 100 Thieves had not a roster spot in CDL, but had a Call of Duty team that was very successful. They won 2 titles, I believe, in Black Ops 4. They're in LA. Like it seems like the stars really align for a purchase. Now, Nade Shot has essentially dismissed this rumor on stream. But then today or yesterday, I believe yesterday or today, he posted a tweet of him holding both of his Black Ops 4 trophies up, and then had a tweet of him and picture of him and Hex and Doc together. So I think it comes down to a funding situation for 100 Thieves, like investing 20 to 25 million. Like he's not going to take a loss on the sale of that CDL spot. I don't believe so. Like CDL to me did well enough in a COVID world to where it shows that this is a viable product, right?
Let's
like,
be real, though.
Only get better.
They'll make 20 million back by selling like 4 hoodies with the way 100 Thieves prices out their clothes. So that's really only like 5, maybe 6 hoodies they have to sell, and then they've already gotten back the 20 million. And I have seen Nate Shot on Twitch saying like, yeah, guys, I heard about it. You know, I've heard about it on Twitter like you guys, but no, I don't know any additional information. I just don't buy that from these guys. Anuj, let me tell you what. If all of a sudden I saw on Twitter Anuj Bajaj thinking about or buying Optic, I would not only call, text, and probably drive to your house to figure out what the hell is going on. For Nate and Hex to be like these best dude friends, and then for Nate Shot to be like, yeah, I haven't talked to the guy in a while. I mean, I have no idea.
3 hours.
Like, no.
You know something's happening,
yes.
Right? Like y'all are too close
this has
for
been
you to be
brought
out
up.
of the loop. Now, I understand Hex has probably kept this very close to the chest, right? Like this getting out early would have been.
Let's be
real.
real.
Have the infamous slasher tweet that released this information before it dropped, right?
And
like
let's be real. The way that breakup happened between Hex and Optic the first time was embarrassing for him, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like he sold them, expected to still have a bunch of say, and then they were like, no, that's not how this is going to work. Like it was for all intents and purposes, embarrassing. So I don't think he wants to have that hope again. He doesn't want to bring in that public hope and it fall, right? Now, I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, like we said, we're talking like this is official because it all seems official. I will say this too, though. You said it's going to be weird to not have Optic associated with COD. And I agree. It's going to be very odd. But I don't know if it's going to hurt the scene as much as people think, because the Optic fanboys have adopted Chicago. You know,
sure.
like they moved
the
over.
Players, like Scump. Let's be real. It's Scump. Like Scump
that
is there.
transition over very nicely. So I think if, say, 100 Thieves or that other brand, they just did a rebrand. Who am I talking about?
Evil Geniuses?
No. It's R. Their logo is an R.
Rise Nation?
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah.
There's another org that might be picking it up, right? Because like their whole push was wanting to get into COD, and then they announced that they're not doing an expansion because of COVID.
Yeah.
So you have that.
They'll be buyers.
They'll be buyers.
It's not
My
like
point
they
is,
need
though, like say 100
Thieves
Thieves gets into the league, right? At this point, if the league was smart, they would almost give them season 1 pricing to get in, because it's like you're only going to. We've seen COD have the highest viewership that it's ever had before with the COD League right now. Higher than all the CWLs, despite all the hate on this game, despite how everyone hated what they did with the CDL and the formatting of it. Well, that hate did not see it in the numbers, right? The numbers showed that you loved it. So if all you're going to be adding is a fan base like 100 Thieves in there, you're not losing anything by getting rid of the Optic branding itself.
No.
That's
only more sentimental, right? Like just not having
that's a sentimental branding, but it's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't
the
mean
Optic brand
anything
has
anymore.
carried over with like Hex is still Optic.
Yeah.
Right. Like the association is still there. There's all this not my Optic, right? Like that trends when Optic is playing essentially. And look, this maybe opens up the door for Hector to do some collaborations with Chicago Huntsmen under the Optic branding. And, you know, whether that's clothing or whatever, and podcasts and all this stuff can all be tied together. So there's ways for him to keep it relevant within the Call of Duty scene outside of just purely the name. But for 100 Thieves, like obviously they couldn't use the 100 Thieves branding, but I've seen things like LA Thieves would sound pretty cool, you know, if they did something like that. You're right. Rise Nation would be a great, you know, potential buyer. Even teams like United, I don't know how much money necessarily, you know, that organization has, but they're big. You know, we know they're big, and so they have been in several esports, are in several esports. So even somebody like them. But I think that just the bigger story is just the fact that Hector is back in the Optic branding. You know, that's his company again. That's really cool. I think this is a great win for him. I think this puts Optic in a very tough spot from a CDL standpoint right now. I mean, we heard Slasher come out, Slasher of Optic come out and say how this has really affected their ability to pick up players, because roster mania for all intents and purposes is done. You know, like
the mania side of it is done.
Yeah, like a lot of the negotiations have been done. A lot of the teams are fully formed, or at least the starting 4 are formed. And so, you know, they're picking up scraps right now. Not to say Slasher is, you know, they signed TJ Holly. That's not picking up scraps, but that's retaining somebody from the old lineup. If they wanted to play with like who they wanted to play with, they're in a tough spot right now. And so that's really some of the stuff that we're going to wait to more so follow up on. You know, once Hex's deal is done, I don't know how much there is to really dive back into it again. You know, like once it's done, it's done. We'll kind of talk about it as they do stuff then, or when. But the effect of the CDL spot, I think, is the biggest story remaining right now off of this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. You know, I feel for the players. I do feel for the players in Optic, because like how we were saying, how although it might have not been public knowledge, right? But say if you're Slasher and you're trying to build out a roster, and you're going to ownership saying, "Hey, man, we need to try to get on this guy, right? We need to call Clacer's a free agent, or such and such is a free agent. We got to call them." And ownership is like, "Yeah. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. No, don't worry. And Slasher's like, "But what are you doing now? We got to make a few phone calls, but don't worry. We're going to get to it. And then all of a sudden this comes out and he's like, oh, you were never going to get to it.
You were not calling.
No, you weren't calling anyone.
It's almost a little funny that it's happening, like sad, but funny in a way that it's happening to Slasher just because of all the shit that he went through this year and that he vocalized this year. Like for it to happen to him is just a little ironic that, he's in this position and, there'll be built-in excuses if they don't perform well. Like I'm already ready for the Slasher flaming to go on midway through the year.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I mean, he never shut up with excuses the first season, right?
Yeah, like imagine now.
And this is like a legit.
These are some true built-in excuses.
This is a legit one.
So
legit one. No, like I said, for all the fun that we have about Hex and everything, I'm super excited to have him get the branding back. I'm sure he was super excited to go to the storage unit and get all of his optic clothes out again now that he can finally wear them. He's probably getting out all the optic logos, putting them back up in the Hex quarters. I'm happy for him. Not going to lift the curse though. The TCR curse is still active. They're still not going to win anything. But despite that, he can always come on the show and we can discuss terms of
hash it out.
Yeah, lifting the curse. So hit us up, Hex. We'd love to have you on. Talk some business, talk some leagues, have fun with it. All right, let's move on to ESL Pro League, as we finally had the true ESL Pro League. NA was cute. It was fun to watch. Repping the boys. It's always good to support your home team. But let's be real. No, that was just the appetizer. That was a little chips and dips before you got to those baby back ribs, because now EU kicked off and people actually knew it happened.
Yep. People were watching.
people were actually watching. I saw one screenshot on Reddit that it was like over 500,000 viewers.
Yeah, broke the record for ESL Pro League.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. So I'm thrilled to see that, because even the NA was struggling. Like I made the joke about Rocket League outperforming them on views, which they were. So it's thrilled to see that it can pull. It's also good to see that it's with the teams there. In the finals, do you want to just jump into the finals? Was there anything prior to that you wanted to discuss?
No, I mean, I think Heroic put up another good showing. And obviously, like them coming off of all the issues of the coaching scandal stuff that they were tied to. Like, it's good to see them continue to perform, because that's a roster a lot of people can get behind. Katie, and having jumped around from as many teams as he has, like they played really well. Like they should be super proud of what they accomplished. And I think Mouse Sports also can hold their head high, because they had a tough go at it recently and have made, roster change, and they looked pretty good, right? Like I wouldn't say they're 100% back, but they competed at a high level and finished top 4 in the event. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. Mouse, I think, for a little bit there, and we all are guilty of this, where, COVID happened, and hand up, my hand's up. I was this guy where I'm like, okay, I was really strict on my diet. I went all year without having any energy drink or pop. COVID happened, and I was like, we'll be home for 2 weeks. What diet, right? You ignore the diet. And now COVID's still happening, so I'm still ignoring the diet. I feel like Mouse Sports might have had that mindset, but instead of cheating and ignoring their diet, they were ignoring playing well and giving a shit about Counter-Strike. I think mentally a lot of these guys, and for Mouse Sports being one of them, were like, it's an online event, guys. Let's just play it to play it, but we'll ramp it up when LAN starts back up again. And now they're kind of realizing, like, oh, this is like all year that we're doing this now. Maybe we should start getting back into the rhythm. And it's just taking them a little bit to get there.
And they're not the only team that I feel like has kind of done that, right? Like I could say Liquid has kind of felt that way.
100% Liquid.
G2 has felt that way for me. Fnatic has slipped quite a bit. FaZe doesn't care either way.
They were done. They were done before COVID
or not. But they aren't the only team that's really kind of fallen off a little bit as of late. So definitely nice to see them. And Robs, was one of the highest performing players of the tournament. You love to see him get back into the mix. But yeah, this was all about the finals, Tim. This was about what we would consider two of the best teams going head to head. We've seen this matchup before, and I think we see the same results for the most part when these two teams face off. But we did get a good finals out of this.
Yeah, so in the finals, we had Astralis versus Navi, which after group stage, this was really the only finals that would have excited people. Because as we said last episode, a lot of these teams, maybe Mouse, if Mouse made it to the finals, sure. But a lot of the marquee matchups were lost with the teams that were eliminated from groups. You know, Vitality.
It wasn't going to pull in 500, though, with a Mouse.
Oh, no. Yeah, this was the record breaker match. This was 100%. I mean, maybe if you had Fnatic or somewhere in there. But this was the record breaker. So you did have Navi Astralis in the finals. Like you said, it was what everyone was hoping for, what everyone was asking for. So I'm definitely glad we had that. Now, this was a double elimination tournament. So the ugly debate reared its head yet again in Counter-Strike. How do you handle double eliminations? Because you can't do 2 best of 5s. Like, not going to happen. So they did the 1 map advantage for Navi. So even though the scoreline shows 3-2 Astralis, it's really 3-1 for the sake of play. Yeah. And let me ask you this, because it was brought up on Twitter by someone. I forget who ended up tweeting it out.
Don Hassey.
Okay, so he ended up tweeting out 1 map advantage. So, of course, like I said, they don't do a full bracket reset when there's double eliminations in Counter-Strike. What they'll always do is a 1 map advantage. So best of 5, Navi started with 1 map already on the board. And then Navi gets to do first map pick and first map ban. Now, the debate is that's too much, and it's too much of an unfair advantage.
Yeah, I think it's a lot. I mean, to get first ban and pick, you're really leaving yourself a lot of room for error, right? Because generally you should win your map pick, especially your first one, right? Like that's usually your strongest map that you're going in there with. You already have the 1-0 advantage. You're going to take out either your weakest map or potentially your opponent's strongest map. So maybe their pick, which would be the second pick in order there, would not be like their strongest map necessarily on a decider map. So there's a big uphill climb for the losing team. Now there should be a climb. Right. I understand that. But like a 1-0 advantage in a best of 5 is quite a big advantage already.
It is. No, I kind of lean on the other side though. Right? I think that's fair. It is a lot. I will say it is a lot to give them 1 map advantage plus first pick and first ban. I understand it's a lot on paper. But don't you think right now Navi would rather have a chance to lose again? Right? That's the thing.
You're talking about the bracket reset.
Yes. Like,
yeah, but then you lose that 1-0 advantage. Like you can't have it both ways, right?
No. I'm not saying both ways. I'm saying like in a double elimination world, you either get bracket reset or this, right?
Yeah.
And if people are saying, well, this is too much, I'm telling you, and although I will admit it's easy for me to make my argument because Astralis ended up winning, right? So it's like, well, clearly it's not too much. Like it's not impossible to counter.
No.
Right?
It's not.
But again, Astralis already got to lose 1 match this event. Navi only got to lose 1. And unfortunately for them, it was in the finals, and they're done. So no, I don't think giving them a map pick and a ban is too much. I think they literally only get to lose once before they have to go home, as when the loser side of that bracket got to already lose once and have that wake-up moment of the tournament.
At the same time, they lost 3 in a row, so they deserved to like be out at that point, right? They had to win 1 out of 3 matches at the end there. So however you look at it, like, you know, so they did 2 best of 3s, and they would have been 1 game away from being eliminated, and they would have had to win 2 out of the last 3, right? Essentially, because they lost 3 in a row there. So they didn't deserve to win, I guess is what I'm saying. Like yes,
That's
if they had the
right.
bracket reset, like, and that's the way they did it, I don't see the outcome being any different in this scenario because, like, again, 3 in a row is like, so that's dominant, right? Against these types of teams and how close these games are, like to not be able to close out one of them, obviously one went into overtime, one was a 16-14 loss. Like they had their chances
Yeah, I do think that's
to
a
do
different
those.
argument though than what the winning bracket get. Is it too much? Is it too unfair?
So would you have rather had the bracket reset in this
I
scenario
mean,
than the 1-0 advantage?
you know me.
Like,
I
but
will
in
take a
Counter
bracket.
Strike, like
I
you
will
would
take
take
a
a bracket reset for Counter Strike?
Yeah, but I don't think it would be best of 5. I think you just do a best of 3 bracket reset.
Yeah,
Like
just be potentially
it could be
could
long,
be
but
a
so could a
deadly
best
day,
of
right?
5.
Like you go through 6 games where in this scenario it's a maximum of 4,
Yeah.
right? 6 games of Counter Strike. Well, shit, if they don't like waking up at 11 a.m., they better really enjoy playing till 2 a.m. because
Yeah.
there's no way to like finish it with
No.
breaks in between. And so I think like I like the bracket reset. I like it for other games though. I don't like bracket reset in the thoughts of Counter Strike. It's
No.
just like best of fives to me. I've said it
Yeah.
100 times. Best of fives
Oh,
to me are
but that
unbearable.
to my point is if we're not going to have bracket resets, don't complain to me that the winner bracket is getting too much. Like they only get to lose once. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's the
I get
bottom
that.
line.
No, no, that's a fair point. Like that's a fair point. Like you only have this is what you've played for, right?
Yes.
Like you put yourself in this position, you should have a leg up.
Astralis
Um,
lost 2-0 to Heroic in the first game of bracket play and kind of woke up. They woke the beast up, right?
yeah, yeah,
Navi was sleeping the whole time and then lost, and maybe that was their wake up moment, and we'll never know because they don't get a second chance. But regardless, it is what it is. Double elimination isn't a perfect world, especially in the world of FPS where the games do take upwards to an hour to finish one map. So I get it. That's not really what we're here to talk about because we did have a incredible finals between Astralis as they defeated Navi 3-2. S-Tag, where are all the haters now? Right? Where are all the haters saying that it's impossible to have bench players and have a 7-man roster like Astralis does? Where are those people saying that, they're done. They're doing this. It's never going to work out. You can't fit a player into a system. It's the player that you create the system around. That's what we've always been told is Astralis' system works so well because of the players, not because of the system. Well, with this, it's hard to convince me otherwise because S-Tag is playing incredibly well, so, especially since Glaive got back.
yeah. Especially when like he's dropping 40 on train, in overtime. Now, granted, it went to overtime, but still, he puts up 40 kills and really wills his team to victory in that one because only Magisk was a +1. Everybody else was running negative on that. So it took his heroic effort in order to get through in this win. And yeah, they're proving that the 6-man roster can work out really well. However, they also have a unique situation where Glaive had to step away and Zipnix is still gone from the team. But this took a team effort, right? Like it's not like we saw Esatag carry all 3 maps. He had
Right.
one really good map. Other than that, he was kind of bottom fragging for the most part. You had Glaive step up and top frag on one map, and then Device bring it home, which he seems to always do in the biggest moments, right? Like this guy is just a machine. He's the Albert Pujols of gaming to me because of just how consistent this dude is. Like when you need him, he steps up for you, and he did that again on Overpatch. Which, look, even for a set of matches that were really very lopsided in terms of final score 3-1 and that right.
Right.
Every game was really exciting here. Like every game was a nail biter for the most part. Outside of Dust 2, really, like even that got a little bit closer towards the end, but Navi really had control on Dust 2 majority of the time. It felt like the other 3 maps were really well fought, and even Overpass, even though it had a 5-round differential, felt really close towards the end. Like Navi made a really good comeback after a lousy first half there on Overpass. to bring that back and really apply some pressure just for Astralis to put the nail in the coffin there. Like they were able to close it out. And again, like to me, this just talks about Astralis's dominance, man. Like, when these guys want to turn it on, and it just seems like when there's something on the line, they they don't flinch. They remember who they are. Yeah, they have these bad showings from time to time, and sure, drop him in your rankings, almost out of the top 10 in some cases. Um, but look, when there's something on the line, I don't know how you bet against them. Well, it's just in the true sense, consistency that we have not seen at this level of Counter Strike. Like, they're winning the biggest tournament still, which is insane to me.
I I've
Different rosters, like you said. They're still.
I've been on the Astralis bandwagon now for some time, even with the roster mix-ups and players taking breaks and everything. I've bought into the idea that, they're not going to be like the dominating Astralis like they once were, but we are at a time in Counter-Strike where that doesn't exist, right? Astralis was the last dominating roster. We've seen some take first, and we thought, are they the new Astralis? And it's been anything but, right? I think Navi's been at first place for a little bit. Big, of all teams, have been in first for a while in the rankings. Astralis is still the example, though, of consistency. Like you said, you can drop them out at the top 10 if you want. That's fine. I get that. But on paper, they might be out of the top 10. In a conversational way, I'm not betting against them still to this day. Not going to do it. Not going to count them out, especially when they have 4 out of the 5 starting roster.
They're still the favorites in my mind in any event they go into. Whether they win it or not, that's a conversation for another time. Like, they're not going to win every event that they go into, but they're still the favorite in my mind heading into any event. And look, it'll be fun to see. Again, this is like bring back up the word on the street. When NA flies over to EU and we start seeing these combined tournaments, and these guys are getting more amped up to play because obviously there's more on the line. It's exciting again.
And I assume if you're flying to EU to do combined tournaments, they're going to be LAN tournaments.
Yeah, you would think so, right? Or
we're not doing all that for. We're not doing all that
hotel room.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, no, you would think
if
so.
Worlds can figure it out, then I think we can figure it out for Counter-Strike.
No, this will probably jump Astralis back into the top 5. Would be my guess on the next set of rankings, just because of obviously it's going to net them a lot of points. I think Navi will be pretty damn close and jump up also. But for Astralis, it's just another notch on the belt, dude. They continue to do it. It's really just a class act organization, man. These guys are just on another level. Dude, all these Dupree, Glaive coming back and reinserting himself into the way he did so easily. It felt fairly flawless to see Glaive return to the lineup and for them to all of a sudden start gelling again. And look, Zipnix has missed, but they've proven they can win with kind of a hodgepodge lineup. If they need to mix in a guy or two here and there, it's very doable for them. Can't say that about many teams, by the way. There's a lot of teams out there where if you told me they had a 6 or 7 man roster, I'm putting zero confidence in a lot of teams if they take out a crucial player. Like Zipnix to me is crucial to Astralis's lineup in the sense of he is the clutch master. When they are in a tough spot, he seems so calm and composed. Name another team that can lose a vital asset like that, bring in somebody unproven for the most part, and still that's just another day at work for them. Not many.
Well, and we said it before. The issue is in esports, and much like any other sport, right? A lot of times we see it in football. The starting star quarterback will lose his job because of injury, right? Might not be fair, but that's how it goes. And so when Glaive and Zipnix, when they left the roster, Zipnix still out. I mean, the org is saying all the right things. Oh, no. We are not replacing them. We're just signing players to play so we can rotate in and out, in and out. That's great PR talk. But the real talk is, look, every job is expendable, right? Every roster spot can be shifted around. If all of a sudden we're dominating with S-Tag, Glaive isn't going to be able to get his spot back just like that. That's how that was the reality of it, right? But I think now that we've seen Glaive come back in, S-Tag is still playing and Zipnix is out, I don't think anyone on this roster has anything to worry about.
Is more likely to lose a spot than Glaive is, though. Like, Glaive is the quarterback in that sense, right? Like, Device is your star player, but Glaive is your IGL. So him losing his spot would probably be a little bit tougher than somebody like, Zipnix doing so. But even then, Zipnix coming back, like, he'll be reinserted into the starting lineup. And I think if they falter, that's when this becomes a fun conversation.
Yeah, that's when it gets interesting, right? That's when it gets spicy, and you'll have that kind of inner turmoil of, uh-oh, now what are you going to do? 7-man roster is really easy when you know the starting 5.
Like, it's all fun and games until Astralis keeps winning some tournaments, right? With S-Tag, because then now he's got, like I said earlier, some notches on the belt. And if Zipnix comes back and they're underperforming and not winning, you start looking like, hey, not too long ago we were just winning all these events, including Pro League, which is one of the biggest events of the year. So, look, congrats to Astralis. I think that makes 3 Pro League wins for them. That puts them on top of a list that nobody else is on right now. So, just another win for a dominating. These guys are going to go down in history as the best. Ultimately, it's just been too long.
Well, and really, I mean, I think by my definition, the dynasty is still going on because we haven't had a major to disrupt it, right? They got to lose the major in order for the dynasty to be officially done. You can't just have the championship belt be vacant and then someone win it. Like, the ones who hold it have to lose it. So I think it's still up for grabs. The dynasty is still going on. It's going strong, in my opinion, for Astralis. On the flip side, briefly, we'll talk a little Na'Vi. Simple, to me, is still one of, if not the best, in Counter-Strike. He still has that commanding, the demanding presence. But we've still seen it, in my opinion, time and time and time again. They cannot figure out the roster to put around him. There's always a weak. He can always get to the final, but he is forever second place.
Yeah, I mean, little different in this event, though, in the sense that Electronic could have been the MVP of the overall thing, because Electronic really was, he carried
Electric.
the team here. Huh? Yeah, he was really electric.
Was he electric?
He was awesome in this event. Now you do need the rest of the guys. The thing with Astralis that makes them unique, Tim, is 1 to 5, they're all good, right? So if somebody is carrying, which still happens, right? Like a device pops off. Nobody is really that far down on the list, though. When you start looking at like plus minus, like they don't have the -10s, the -12s, like they don't have those types of performances. That's what Na'Vi needs to find. Na'Vi needs to find a way for, look, let's let our bad games be average. If our bad games are average and Simple pops off, we should win a lot of games. It's when Simple pops off and he's a plus 22 or something, but then at the bottom end you have 3 -10s to 15s. Like, that's not going to work. Like, that's not enough. Like, one person can't physically do that in CS often. It can happen from time to time, but not often. And so they just need to, honestly, I think they need to stay on course right now with this roster. I don't want to see them necessarily make a change. Like, this wasn't a terrible performance. You took Astralis deep in every map. And again, I don't look at this as, oh, they did it with their 6-man. Like, S-Tag has proven to be a very viable commodity. And again, if you didn't watch Train, go back and watch it. Like, he was amazing. So they played really well, but you're right. They're like always the bridesmaid, never like the bride, right? Like, they're just always right there, and they just can't get over that hurdle. And I don't know if they ever will, but it's going to be hard to make a significantly better roster than what they have now, especially if they're trying to stay fully in CIS. Like, that can be tough. And so I think they stay the course and just keep doing what they're doing. But you're right. Like, they just can't find a way to get over the hurdle. And that's generally been Astralis for them.
Yeah. So there you have ESL Pro League EU has wrapped up. Looking forward into the not so distant future, in a couple days on the 6th, we have New York, IEM New York starting up. You know, I don't want to beat a dead horse and say that this online world sucks because of this one reason. For the NA side, though, we actually do have more teams than EU for this one. I'm assuming just given the fact that it's New York, they wanted to pump the tires up a little bit more for NA. But again, you look at the lineup. I mean, this is why they're flying.
Teams, but look at the teams.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
NBL teams.
This is why they're flying to Europe. This is why the top 4 or 5 NA teams are willing to fly to Europe.
Like we have the New England Whalers, great old hockey team competing in CS, so that's awesome. Rebirth, Imperium, Mythic, which is a streaming guild for the most part. RGB, I don't know if that's for Rest in Peace, like the late great Supreme Justice, or the RBG. I see that there. Close enough. But like again, teams that you just the average fan won't know shit about. It's cool that they're getting some exposure, but like you're really just filling in a roster to fill in a roster, it feels like at this point. On the EU side, also, we're missing Navi on the EU side. We're missing Astralis on the EU side. So IEM New York is still going to be a good show in that sense, but it's,
Let me tell you why EU. Let me give you some storylines for EU, though. Okay, because like you said, the big dogs from ESL aren't in it, right? As far as Astralis and Navi are concerned.
Actually, Navi will be competing in the CIS region.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that's okay. That can build on this storyline then that I was going to say for EU, because you are right. Navi is going to be on the CIS side. In these tournaments, and this has kind of been the storyline for every NA event since COVID hit, if you're a favorite team, you really, for confidence and public appeal, cannot screw this up. Like, these are the ones where, I mean, Group A sucks for EU, but like FaZe has to get out of groups and have to perform well, right? I would say Fnatic at this point in G2 have to get out of groups, right? You do have those teams that have to perform well in these smaller events where it's like, dude, you don't have the Astralis or Navi in your event. So this is when you have to take advantage and show that, hey, I can beat these teams that are below me. I won't be upset every time.
Yeah, I mean, for CIS, Navi has to win.
Right.
Right? Like, there is no excuse for Navi not to come out with the win. Like, if Simple walks out of here and does not have an IEM New York title, incredibly disappointing, because there is zero competition in CIS when it comes to comparing them to Navi. Not to say that CIS is a trash region. It's just when you compare them to Navi, there's
the drop
really
off
no...
is there.
Who?
The drop off is there.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah, the drop off is just massive. Like, it is really, it's going from tier 1 to tier 2 to everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Like that's really what it is. One tier 1 team in the CIS region. Again, for IEM New York NA, like, if we don't have an Evil Geniuses liquid final, it's a disappointing, I guess you could throw Furia, kind of into the mix. I know 100 Thieves played well here recently, but still, like, they're not on Liquid's level. So really there's like a combination of 2 or 3 teams that you hope to see in the finals. Otherwise it feels disappointing. At least still with the EU side, you're right. There are teams that you feel like, yes, they need to make it out, but like, you're probably going to come away somewhat satisfied at the end, regardless of what happens on the EU side. Like, if FaZe falls out, well, guess what? It was just another bad showing for FaZe, right? Like, no one's going to be truly surprised if they don't beat Heroic in the opener. Like, chances are they're the underdog. If you go bet on that match, like, Heroic's probably favored to beat them. But there are a couple of teams in here that you want to see, like, compete better than they have of recent. And I think that would be your Fnatic, your G2s. Like, those two teams really come to mind that you want to see a little bit more out of. but they're in the tougher bracket. Like Fnatic's playing Vitality. G2 should be Complexity. You know, I feel like Complexity has to kind of reinvent themselves a little bit with the departure of OBO, but you still should get an entertaining match on the EU side at the end of the day, regardless of kind of where that ends up. Especially with Astralis being out, you know, you feel like it's fair game for anyone to win that side.
Yeah. So there you have it. There's some Counter-Strike for you. Astralis is your ESL Pro League EU champion, and we're looking forward to the next one. Hopefully, LAN with NA very soon around the corner. And like I said, anything on the calendar that's going to be online, if NA goes to EU, you trash that tournament. You trash it, and we're back to LAN. Like, I don't care what tournament was supposed to be at that time, if it's online. I don't care if it's Katowice. You trash it.
I would love for it to be a Flashpoint event just so I can see the heat that comes on Twitter if they have to cancel a Flashpoint event or something. I don't think it is, but if it would, that would be super interesting.
It looks like if anything, it would be Blast would have to take the heat.
Blast, or maybe just Blast host the events, right? They change their event to be something, right? Like
the only difference is okay, well, yeah, because
let them get the Saudi money and let's make it like a $2 million like event. You know, bring Neon back into the mix. Get some of that money and let's go.
Get that in there, man. No one will remember that. No one remembers that anyways. All right, so there's some Counter-Strike for you. Let's get into some e-news to wrap up the show. Quite a busy e-news, actually. I guess it's kind of standard for the sake of Mondays. But in Overwatch, we had a potential Yikes of the week, but they averted it. Pete, I can never say this guy's name, but the commissioner has ended up stepping down as the Overwatch League commissioner. Yes, that's right. Like a week and a half before the grand finals, you have the league commissioner, the second one, 2 in 1 year, has stepped down. Or maybe it's...
Do you think he stepped down at gunpoint or was it willingly?
Probably both. He willingly was going to step down, but that doesn't mean he didn't have guns pointing at him. So the reason this was not Yikes of the Week is because, thankfully, the league was actually fast acting on this and appointed Joanna Ferries, which, if it sounds familiar, it's because she is the commissioner of the CDL. So now she will just be commissioner of the leagues. And
it's not a commissioner title, so she'll have a unique title, and they still may have
commissioners, but someone is reporting to her.
Yeah, she'll be running both.
She's the master of the leagues. I don't know what I forget what they call her, but she's running both leagues at the moment. You know, I'm sure someone more business savvy than us probably has an opinion on this. CDL went well. I don't know how much of that is to credit to her. Right? I don't know if she was more hands-off on how the league was actually ran and she does more business stuff. I don't know. But anything is better than what the Overwatch League had this year. So
yeah,
it can only go up.
We'll have to look at it as a positive because they can't handle another negative right now.
No, they cannot. And like I said, the finals are starting up this weekend. So probably good to have some type of boss while that's going on. In Valorant news, Seb ended up signing with Andbox, which of course, as we've said before, is Android has signed with them. Kind of like that New York, they're the owners of like New York Subliners and things like that. Kind of a new org in esports as far as looking at the name. So Seb, former Singularity and Ghost, ends up signing with them, makes the jump over from CS. 100 Thieves rounds off their roster with Asuna and...
Just Dicey. Like they're both from Immortals, and look, these guys, like Dicey especially, was like a hard carry. Like the dude was very good, and both. I know Dicey has a Counter-Strike background. Asuna is young, like I believe he's only 17.
Well, they're both 17. Dicey might be 18, but they're
like
both young.
Dicey's been a little bit more, I think, involved in the Counter-Strike scene. But look, both of these guys are stellar Valorant players, and I know it's a little unusual, a little unorthodox in terms of who we thought 100 Thieves might go with, but these are very good pickups, and both of these guys have performed well. Now that leaves Immortals open with 2 spots there, so that'll be interesting to see how they round it out because they were playing well, mainly due to these 2 individuals.
As I was doing research on these 2 guys, I have come to a realization. There was somewhere in life, I don't know when this turning point happened, Anuj. I am 30, you're
28.
28, sure. Older than 30. And there was a turning point in life to where it became cool and okay to have an anime avatar.
It's not in my world.
Like, but again, there was a turning point because now you have 17-year-old, 18-year-old guys rocking the anime avatar. Not knocking it, different world, right? All I know is that when I was 17, if I had an anime avatar, I would have gotten my ass beat up and made fun of at school.
Yeah, you would have had a tough time in COD lobbies.
Like even on and people are like, well, it's different now, pro gamer. No, even as a pro gamer, you would have gotten laughed at for having that. But hey, times change, man. I'm happy for them. But it's popular with the 17-year-olds. Anime avatars, they're in. Just a little observation. Yeah,
I understand that.
TCR show bet payoff idea.
Go for it.
Whenever we do a bet on the show, loser has to have an anime avatar on Twitter for let's say a week. I was gonna say a month.
You do like that new selfie avatar? Anime avatar?
That's even worse. Yes. The anime where they turn you into an anime. Yes.
I want to throw this out there real quick, just in case people have interest in this, because I was thinking about this earlier. I heard it on the radio and thought it'd be catchy. If we did like our picks of the week and use proper betting lines off of either Thrive or one of the sites that does like individual lines, and we do a couple of picks each week and like tally it out through a season or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what we'd have to do, right? That's the best way to do it, so it builds up throughout the season, and then the loser at the end of the season has to. I know we tried doing it once, but we got with Overwatch where the loser was going to wear a Tracer. Remember we said like the loser has to wear Tracer tight pants
that
at
was going to be
DreamHack.
to BlizzCon.
No, it was at DreamHack. But
DreamHack. That's
the
right.
issue is the DreamHack ended like a stage before, like the timing didn't work out, so we couldn't do it. So yeah, I'm down. Whenever CDL or another one of these things start up, maybe we'll do like a game of the week and we have to pick a few of that. You know me, I'm a gambling man. I would love to have fun with that for sure. So we'll think of something. If anyone has ideas or suggestions, let us know. Other news in Valorant, a lot of talent from CS announcing that they are interested in, they don't want to give up on CS. They're not moving on, but also dip their toes into Valorant.
Not surprising.
No, not at all. And then, how do you say this name? Zelsis?
Former
Zelsis.
Cloud9, Tim.
How former?
I mean, it was during their heydays over the last year and a half.
For CS?
Yeah, for CS.
They've been dead to me since like a month after Boston.
He was one of the first pickups after all like that debacle went down.
Really?
Yeah.
That's blocked out in my brain. Blocked out. Anyways, he's in the process of creating a Valorant team. Freakazoid has replied with interest there. I'm not gonna lie. I wonder what the conversation, like if 100 Thieves ever reached out to Freakazoid, or if Hiko, knowing Freakazoid from Counter-Strike, was like not touching that, right? Kind of surprised he hasn't been picked up.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if he's like 100% serious about it, right? Like you feel like he's proven himself enough in Counter-Strike to get that opportunity, similar to Steel, right?
Yeah.
The way he's done it with 100 Thieves. So I expect to see him on a team soon enough.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that we haven't seen him at least entertain, even like with Anbox, right? Like some of these Counter-Strike-esque teams, but I'm sure it'll happen soon enough for him. Other news, last breaking news for Valorant. Last night, Anuj and I played a round, just one map. Both had aces in the same map.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
How many times did that happen? I mean, it's rare you get one ace a game.
Yeah.
We had one each. So, hey, Zelsis, sorry that I forgot that you were on Cloud9, but our phone numbers are available. So hit us up. In other FPS news, you had Frosty, after being dropped from Florida Mayhem and not being signed by any other CDL team, has decided to...
Mutineers, right?
Oh, yeah. Did I say Mayhem?
Yeah. It's okay.
Of course I did. No. The other Florida team owned by the same ownership in CDL decided to go back to his roots and sign back with Sentinels to complete their Halo roster, joining Royal 2, Lethal, and Snakebite. Talk about some old names there.
Yep.
For the people who are wondering, well, this seems kind of odd. Well, if you're new, yes, but Frosty is a 2-time Halo World Champion. He made his name on Halo. So after no team wanted to sign him with CDL, probably a smart pick for him.
Yeah, and he's joining veterans of the scene, like people he's played with before, right? So
and an org that he's been with before, so it makes sense.
Does make sense if he's not getting picked up, which is surprising because remember, Florida won 3 events this year. Like, that wasn't a bad roster. You would think these
little word on the street for you. I've heard that this might have been because, yes, Florida won 3 events over the year, but Florida was also one of the teams that was reported to abuse the respawn cam bug.
Oh, shocking.
Yeah, where you could, you know that bug in Counter-Strike where you could see them over the map. Florida was reportedly one of the teams that maybe abused it. So, might have been blacklisted from joining teams. But, you know, Counter-Strike's a tough scene to get into. It's a very buddy-buddy type of scene anyway. So, good to see Halo actually picking up someone worthwhile. League of Legends, we have the group stage going on. Just a few quick notes here. Let me pull this up. TSM is down 2-0 in Group C as Gen G
is having a tough time.
Yeah. We actually tried. So if any of our listeners tried doing it and it didn't work, Joey, longtime listener, say hi in Discord to him. He's a great dude. Was building up a bracket group for us on the Riot's website. It is super buggy though. Like, people were trying to join, it wasn't joining them. It was showing on some people, not showing on some. So if you made a bracket, great, thank you. Post it in Discord because the website's super buggy. But regardless, I was going to meme it and put TSM to win. I didn't.
Glad you messed that up.
Yeah, I didn't. So they're not looking too hot. Gen G is up 2-0 in that group. Some of the other big favorites, you had G2 is currently 1-0. Liquid 0-1. So it's, you know.
What's Fnatic? 1-1 right now?
Fnatic is 1-1 in group stage. So it's early on still, but, you know, figure I'd give everyone an update. Battle Royale news, Snipedown. Speaking of Halo, Snipedown, former Halo pro, signs with TSM for Apex Legends. I want to know why.
Well, he's was playing previously with another team, and
I want to ask TSM why.
What do you mean why?
Out of all your budget allocation, you're like, you know what we need, guys? We need to sign Snipedown, which I'm sure isn't cheap, to our Apex Legends. Like, why?
Hey, they want to be the best. Can't blame them. They're doing well right now in the tournament that's going on. I think they're number 1.
But it's Apex Legends, dude.
Well, Snipedown's only there to help form their Halo team in a few months.
And that's actually a funny point that you bring up, because I wanted to say, like, Snipedown would be a risky pick for me in that, because, yeah, like, he's playing Apex Legends now, but when the new Halo comes out, is he going to get that itch to go back? What if their pro scene picks up and he's like, oh, there's actually, like, money involved here? Snipedown was ridiculous in Halo. He can go back. He can go back and play. So it's...
I think it's going to be cool for Halo because we're going to see a lot of, like, the old veterans back in the scene.
Yeah, a little risky pick there, but we'll see what happens there. In FGC news, Smash Brothers Ultimate has a new character released, Minecraft Steve.
That's so weird.
So it's literally the Minecraft guy.
I don't like that.
I don't... Listen, all right? This is going to sound weird, and maybe it's the boomer in us, because I agree. I don't want bits with my characters.
It's like too, like, I don't know. It doesn't fit in with the flow of the game to me. Like that style of character does not fit in with the flow of the way the other characters are. Because I feel like he has to move boxy for it to like. He can't be like fluid. I don't know. It just feels weird. I don't like it.
I think it's gonna probably look more like a Mr. Game and Watch type of movement. But hey, you know what? People liked it because it's been a meme for a while that you need to add Minecraft Steve, and then they actually did. So,
Sure.
Maybe you know what Nintendo was thinking? They were like, you know what we need to do? Get more 14-year-olds at our events. That's what Smash scenes need. Let's get Minecraft involved so we can get more children there.
Unattended.
Unattended. All the Smash pros are like, yes, we love this character. It's going to attract so many little boys. Gross. Shame on you, Smash scene. Shame on you. In other news, Philly Esports, friend of the show, launched the first collegiate esports league called the Ace League for Rocket League. So go check them out. Maybe we'll have Adam on the show sometimes just to kind of give us a lowdown on that. But very cool, and congratulations to our friends over at Philly Esports for starting that up.
100%.
Yeah, good dudes over there, starting it to do it the right way.
Can I mention this next one?
Yeah, you can.
It hurts me. Blizzard announced Shadowlands has been delayed till later this year. It will hopefully come out later this year. That's what they have said, but it is no longer coming out on the 26th. As much as it sucks because I was really looking forward to it, I am happy they're doing it because from what I've seen from the beta and people talking about it, people that know way more about WoW than me, it was like a complete disaster in the beta. It was very unbalanced. A lot of things between covenants and all that needed to be reworked. So hopefully this gives them the time that they need. But
as a member of the esports gaming community, we did have a chance to play Shadowlands. Exclusive access, not a big deal. And I gotta say, I 100% agree.
Yeah, it was
from when we played it a year ago at BlizzCon. And I think
we knew then.
we knew that. I think we literally both sat down to play Shadowlands at the press area at BlizzCon, played it for all of 30 seconds, and we were like, yep, it's WoW.
It's WoW.
And we were like, I guess we'll wait. I don't know what you want from me.
Only so much you can do in a 10-minute playtest for WoW.
Well, and you know, like you said, those people, people were sitting there with notepads. All right, so the fireball, let's see, in the normal version moved at 0.7 velocity. Well, this one moves at 0.6. And it's and people are writing all that crap down. We're like, space is still jump. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's WoW. Good luck on getting it this year. I hope for all of us that it still comes out this year, but
I think it will. I think the delay might not be the worst thing with Cyberpunk and all that around the corner. Like push it.
No, yeah, great stuff. NHL 21 will have a game mode called NHL 94 Rewind. Basically, it's going to be all the teams, but with NHL 94 graphics. Conveniently, after we just talked about how NHL 94 was one of our...
They developed it in under 3 days after they heard the show.
They heard the show and said, my God, it was on their We Grew Up Here list. We got to add it.
That's actually pretty cool. It makes me intrigued.
It does suck that it's behind NHL 21. If you did this as a standalone game, I would honestly probably spend $20 on it and put it on PC. Do a standalone game for NHL 94 with updated rosters and put it on PC, and I would probably honestly spend $20 on it. But the fact that
support.
Yeah, but the fact that it's behind NHL 21, I'm like, okay.
It makes me want to wait for that to come down half price. And get it just to have that.
Just to have, 100%. And last but not least, not really esports news, but Grand Theft Auto is reportedly having a movie in development.
That'd be badass. That could be really cool.
Badass. Feel like you've probably already seen a Grand Theft Auto movie before. Go see Training Day.
Yeah.
Probably the story of Grand Theft Auto isn't that original. Let's be real. It's pretty much any other shoot 'em up mafia type movie. But hey.
But if they do it right, I could see it being very successful.
Yeah. Of course, I feel like it may be just a tad overdue too. The fact that we haven't had some shitty Resident Evil style level of a Grand Theft Auto movie, Like all the
Like, we should be on Grand Theft Auto like 5 the movie by now.
think of all the dumb video game movies that we've had that have just been terrible. I'm surprised there hasn't been like some really cheap studio that made Grand Theft Auto.
I am like waiting for them to give us Grand Theft Auto 6.
Good luck. Good luck.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, but they just keep releasing it on every next gen console.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5 came out on the PS3.
Yeah, like 8 years ago, right?
Yeah, like let's look. GTA 5, and I'm sure it's releasing on the new ones. 7. Ooh, man, you said 6 years ago?
8 years ago.
8 years ago. Oh yeah, almost. September 17th, 2013.
Yeah, it's a long ass time.
And I don't even think there's been any talks of GTA 6. So. Oh well. Oh well. Well, you'll at least be able to play GTA 5 on the PS5 and every other next gen.
Can't wait.
Can't
that
wait.
And what is it? Elder Scrolls?
Yeah, Elder Scrolls.
No.
Even though no, maybe you can't play Elder Scrolls anymore on PlayStation. Owned by Microsoft now.
It's true.
Owned by Microsoft. Which, since we're ending the show anyways, I don't see any chance in hell Microsoft makes Bethesda games Xbox exclusives. I know some people like Xbox fanboys are saying that. I don't see that. That is such a cash cow that you'd be not doing.
It'll be a timed exclusive.
A timed exclusive, sure.
Yeah.
But they're not going to deny the money.
And with them being RPG style games, it's going to be like only a 1 week type thing. They're not going to do like 6 months timed exclusive where the story is out, all the gameplay video is out. Like,
no,
they'll open this up to.
But this whole Sony PlayStation players will never be able to play Elder Scrolls again. Let's pump the brakes there. When have we ever seen Microsoft or Xbox try to strong arm someone that bad? The answer is never.
No.
The answer is never. So there you have it. That is episode 277 of The Centering, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, presented by Alt. Check them out, altesports.com. That's ULT esports.com. We will be back Wednesday night to record Thursday's episode. You can catch it live, though, via the magic of streaming on YouTube and or Twitch. Be a part of that conversation. Obi in the chat, thank you for joining us today. Everyone else in chat, thank you. Love you. Talk some stuff. We'll have ESL New York, or IEM New York, excuse me, happening. So maybe something exciting will happen there. Maybe we'll get some Hex Optic news happening. Only time will tell. Only time will dictate what we talk about next time on The Center Ring. Follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring and be a part of the conversation in Discord. You can click the link in the description there. But until then, for Nuge, I'm Tim. We'll see ya.